report...
Sorry to interrupt the honourable member. His time has expired.
Thank you.
I call Michael Woodhouse.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I want to just touch on a couple of the comments made by the previous Speaker, Mr Mallard, and in particular his claim that the Prime Minister was not prepared to front up. Now, I think this is something that needs to be addressed, because what the member is inferring is that the Prime Minister should act...
A point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Anything in my speech.
That's it. Michael Woodhouse.
Mr Speaker, I infer from those things that the member feels that the Prime Minister should have taken action before all the facts were before him, and indeed he called for an apology. But the prudent thing to do was to conduct an inquiry, and to need to have the inquiry to establish all the facts. The facts are now on the table. The Prime Minister has apologised to Mr Kim.com and has expressed his disappointment in the events that have transpired. But I also think it quite rich from Mr Mallard to talk about the Prime Minister should take control of these agencies, because ministers, as that member well knows, do not run agencies. And in fact, I well recall responses to oral questions in this House when Mr Mallard was the Associate Minister of Transport for calls to him to take control of an issue related to Air New Zealand and the Engineers, Printing and Manufacturers Union in respect of a maintenance dispute at Christchurch Airport, and he was at very great pains to point out that it was absolutely not a minister's role to interfere with the day-to-day running of government agencies. So I sense at least an inconsistency, or for that matter a state-owned enterprise like Air New Zealand, which would have been even worse, frankly. So the member says one thing in government and another thing in opposition. But it is clear, and indeed the lawyers acting for Mr .com have indicated that information contained in the report that was released today could be used as evidence in the extradition hearing which is presently before the High Court. And as such, it would be entirely inappropriate for any member of the government, or this House, frankly, to continue to comment rather on the matters that may yet be before the court. There are very strict protocols in respect of the legislature's boundaries in respect of judicial proceedings, and vice versa, I should add. And I think Minister Finlayson very clearly explained the reasons why and the aspects of the report. And I just want to endorse those comments by the Attorney General and say no more about it.
Members, this debate has concluded. I call on Government Order of the Day number 1.
National War Memorial Park Pukeahu Empowering Bill, third reading.
The Honourable Christopher Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, I move that the National